Hey guys, Eric here with another video. This time, just like the last time, doing something a little bit different, a little bit outside of my comfort zone. But I was thinking about it the other day when I was going through my game collection, and I was thinking to myself, you know what I haven't done is I really haven't referred any games to people. So this will be a new series that I'm going to call Game Tryouts, where basically it's just I recommend games that are kind of fly under the radar, or maybe someone doesn't really give them a second thought. Because I really do think that the games that I have here, and not even that, but just video games in general, I really think they deserve like an honest playthrough. I think 5-10 minutes on them really isn't it really doesn't give them the proper judgment that they need, and I think too many decent games have been long forgotten due to the unfair treatment that they get. It's an unfair system, but we can help. Moving on. I'm going to start this off with a Wii title. Some of you might have heard of it. I do believe it's in the arcades, but for some reason, not a lot of people own this on console, which is weird because Metal Jesus Rocks referred this in his underrated Wii Gems video, and because of that, I went and checked it out, and I personally love it. And that would be Ghost Squad, an on-rail shooter for the Wii. I know a lot of people don't like using the Wii, the Perfect Shotgun, I think that's what it's called, or the Wii or the Link's crossbow training attachment. But either way, for some reason, a lot of people really don't like using the using those and playing the shooting games in the Wii. And then the common argument I get is, well, the aiming isn't calibrated, and it's like, well, course, that's something you kind of have to do. The arcade cabinets obviously are made to be like pinpoint precise. These are just a little bit different, but the option settings for it is so simple. It really is. You literally just go into options and you're literally lining up the crosshairs on your gun or the Wiimote to the target, and it pretty much does the work for you. You're spending a grand total of 10 seconds, if not that, in the options fixing it. But aside from that, I'm a huge fan of on-rail shooters. I have been ever since I started going to arcades when I was a little kid, and the fact that I was able to bring some of that home with me was awesome. It reminded me a little bit of House of the Dead, Medieval, or Carnival, sorry. Two different games, Eric. And of course, Time Crisis. But Ghost Squad, good game. Give it a shot. It's dirt cheap. I think it's $2 or $3, and that's in like any retail game store. It is not expensive by all means. Moving on to original Xbox. If you are a fan of third-person shooters, especially of the Max Payne genre, I highly, highly, highly recommend. If you are a cold-blooded Marvel fan, I highly recommend The Punisher on Xbox. I would probably refer the PlayStation 2 version for two reasons. One, I think it plays a little bit smoother, and also it just happens to be worth more for some reason. But all that aside, if you're a Punisher fan, like I am, I'm not as much as I used to be growing up, but basically third-person shooter, Punisher getting it done, man. You're basically going through the whole crime syndicate families, and you're just taking anyone out that gets in your way. You can use people as bullet shields, and there's like these really interesting interrogation scenes where you interact with like an environment. One of them that I can think of is I think it's like a chrome dipping machine, and you basically have to use your analog stick to basically arc the person in a certain way into the chrome machine to interrogate them, and you have to hold it in like the red area for a certain amount of time, and then as soon as the guy gives you the information that you're looking for, which by the way is pivotal to moving on further in the stage, and then basically it'll give you the option to let him go or to finish the job, and what he'll like just dip the dude's up to like his collarbones into this chrome finisher machine, and it's just an awesome good time game. If you love Max Payne or anything in that series, I highly recommend that game, especially if you are a comic book junkie. You need to give that game a shot. It is extremely fun. Be forewarned, it is a little challenging, so don't be surprised if you're going to be taking a little extra time on this. The graphics are a tad dated, but graphics don't mean anything in a video game. If we judge solely on graphics, then that means anything that was made prior to PlayStation 2 was crap, and we all know how not true that is. This one was... I had to go back to this game several times, and I think a lot of it is because the gameplay mechanics in the game are not polished. But once we get beyond that, if anyone's a fan of the Dynasty Warrior series or games like that, I wasn't. Dynasty Warriors Gundam and Strike Force, I recommend those. Those are the more polished, better playing out. Dynasty Warriors 7, if you're into that. For me, the first game of that genre that I enjoyed thoroughly, that really turned me on the series, was Mystic Heroes on the GameCube. But I've been playing this lately, and I have to recommend it. 99 Nights for the Xbox 360. Like I said, it plays like a Dynasty Warriors game. The music is incredible in this game. It is dated, but the music makes up for it. The scenery is absolutely gorgeous. The level design is great. The few gripes that I have, there are some invisible walls in this game that kind of can get in the way of what your character is doing. You are able to level up your character. You can equip them basically like you would an RPG in a sense. So it has a lot of really interesting elements in the game. I thoroughly enjoy it. Again, this game is really, really cheap. I got a good deal on this from a pawn shop. I think I paid like $5 for it. It was well worth it. I recommend giving it a shot if you like that series, or if you wanted to give the hack and slash genre a try and you just don't know, or you haven't really done it, give this game a shot. Like I said, the controls need a little bit of polishing. There are some times where the move might register like a half a second late, but in all honesty, you're going to need it because there are some levels where the difficulty spike will be like almost unforgiving. But give that a shot. For a person who was never really a huge into that series, I recommend giving that a shot. Another game that was a genre changer for me, because I really haven't been too huge into RTS games. I mean, I played a Command and Conquer game before, and I haven't played Halo Wars. I'm going to get to that one. When that game first came out, everyone's like, "Oh, it's terrible." I'm like, "It's StarCraft but Halo. What's wrong with you?" Not everything has to be Halo 2 to be good. Anyway, moving on. If you're not a fan of the original series, I have not played any of the other games in the series, but this was gifted to me by I believe this was gifted to me by a parent, and that would be Civilization Revolution. Basically, real-time strategy game. Kind of feels like it's cartoonish in a way. It plays a lot faster than some of the other games, but be forewarned, per playthrough is going to run you at least an hour to 2 hours, depending on which civilization you're running, how you're choosing to build up that civilization, and how much of a warmonger you're going to be in that game. But I recommend that one. That one's it might be a little challenging to some to get into, but it's a lot of fun. Everyone kind of talks like Charlie Brown teacher voices, like the so it gets rid of annoying dialogue pretty quickly. It allows you to pretty much just bring up your entire civilization the best that you want. But yeah, I recommend giving that a shot if you like real-time strategy games like that, or if you're a fan of Civilization series. It's a neat little sidetrack from the original series. Excuse me, I have like a really bad itch on my arm. And then we move on to PS2 land, which has more underrated games than I can even mention. But we'll jump right into it. I'm just going to go right into these. Castlevania Curse of Darkness. If you have not played this game, I highly recommend you go out there and play it. The first Castlevania game I ever played was Symphony of the Night, and while I did enjoy it, it was a tad confusing and a little difficult. At that point, I had kind of gotten past the series, but when I got this game, it changed everything. Basically, the weapons you use to slay enemies produce different gems. Those gems help level up these special familiars that fight with you. There's tons of RPG elements in the game. The soundtrack is awesome. The character voiceovers are amazing. It is truly unbelievable. if you love Castlevania and you love the nitty-gritty hack and slash RPG elements with and it almost kind of feels like Devil May Cry in a way too, I recommend getting that game. It is essential to your PlayStation 2 collection. Um, a fighting game, which most people don't know about when I tell them, is Urban Reign. And why? Well, it's a little bit different. It's a little bit more of an open level stage fighting game. Um, to best explain it, I would probably say the newer Mortal Kombat games. Instead of choosing to go up and forward into the foreground and background, you pretty much, it kind of looks at the whole level as like a 45-degree angle, and you have full complete movement to go in circles and backwards and all that. With the analog stick, you can run and jump off of walls and do grapples and punches and strikes and kicks. The countering system is really balanced. I recommend getting the multi-tap for that game, getting some friends together, and just having a night of it, dude. I cannot tell you how many times I've gotten together with friends to play this game for hours, literally, and not one person can sit there the entire time and be the undefeated champion. That's how balanced that game is. I'm getting excited just thinking about it, man. So if anyone wants to come over and play, let me know. There's a few teaser characters in this game. I believe Paul from Tekken is in this game. Yeah, Paul's in this game. And a lot of characters have like different kind of styles. There's like grappler. There's wrestling styles where the grapple moves are like wrestling moves. I believe one of the wrestling grapplers in that game actually like does like a triple power bomb into like a spinning power bomb. So yeah, if you're into those games, go for it. Another game that kind of some people looked at and just looked over, Dark Watch, first person shooter. The dude kind of looks like a vampiric and more badass version of Van Helsing. Again, I recommend giving that a shot. I don't want to go too much into that game without giving a lot away because it gets really intense within like the first 20 minutes. But if you're into that, let's see, I'm going to try and put in this. Save humanity from evil, and then you're basically going after like hordes of skeletons and zombies and witches and demons, and you're basically like the half-human, half-vampire. You're basically a Van Helsing version of Blade. So, with that being said, what are you waiting for? And the last game I have here for this episode, it's a game that I believe it was a precursor to Marvel Alliance, at least in my opinion anyway. I could be wrong. But X-Men Legends 2 Rise of Apocalypse, 4-player co-op. The first X-Men Legends was a decent game. However, it did suffer in the multiplayer aspect, or maybe I just absolutely cannot read directions. But for some reason, I was having an issue with people joining into the game. But with this game, I felt the transitioning was a lot better. 4-player offline co-op. It was a ton of fun. Like I said, I think this predates Marvel Ultimate Alliance, or at least that the software definitely predates it. But if you're into those games and you're a fan of the X-Men series, and I loved the X-Men game series from like the 90s up into the early 2000s. There's a few of them now that are okay, but we'll probably get to that in another video. So, yeah, those, I believe that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 8 games. 8 games. I highly recommend you go out and give another shot. They're definitely worth a decent tryout. Every one of those I've had a ton of fun with. But, yeah, it also depends, have the right state of mind when you're going into it. Have a very open, again, be open to it, If you don't want to try them, obviously don't do them. That's your own prerogative. But I recommend giving at least one of those games a shot. I guarantee you will not be disappointed. And to those of you who have played them and do not like them, I do sincerely apologize. But yeah, let me know what you think. Suggestions for games maybe I should give a shot to, or maybe something for a future video. With that being said, happy Thursday to all of you, and I will see you all later.